So I've got my page. It's completely wet, wet to the touch. I painted with my fan brush. I painted the surface of the paper with clean, uncontaminated water. It's still wet. The water has soaked into the page. And now I'm going to lay down some paint onto the page. And we should get a little bit of color magic happening. Now this is what I want you to do to experiment with your background. I've mixed together red and blue, and I'm getting all sorts of magic that's happening. Now just to remind you, I started out with a completely wet piece of paper. That's what's giving me these interesting bleeding effects. I'm going to add a little bit more blue and red to my surface. And this is where you can have fun and decide how much paint you want to add to the canvas, or I should say the paper. And of course, using different brush techniques or different brush tip sizes, you're going to get different effects. It's important, of course, that the paper be flat on the page or on the table, because otherwise it'll just bleed. You can also experiment around with adding in salt, which will create texture on the page. I'm really going to go in with some red here. Now, this is going to be the background of a painting that I work on. So this isn't the final project. This is just the background. And then I'm going to add in, once this is completely dry, may let it dry overnight, I'm going to add in more traditional watercolor techniques on top that you guys have been working with, so that you'll get more sharper lines. You can add ink. You can draw on it. This is just the background that we're working with. Starting to get a lot more bleeding here. I'm going to clean my brush off. I'm going to add in a little bit more, and then I'm going to call it done. And for this part, I'm going to go with red and just show you what a darker line looks like. And you can really explore and experiment around with all different sorts of things here. I hope to encourage you guys to have fun with it. Use your paper, experiment. Even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you want it, it'll be fun to explore, find out what you like and don't like. We're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do a little bit of painting and drawing on top of it. Experiment, have fun, and share your creations with me.